Hi everybody, welcome back to another drone tutorial. So today I have an animal one. It's a leopard face, profile, side view. Normally I do the animal faces straight forward, but this one is kind of a profile one, so it's kind of a long one. I've turned the page landscape. So let's go. We will start with the leopard's eye. So we're in the top half of our page on the right, just here. So we're going to put the eye in there just to fit in as much as we can. So we're going to start with a kind of a V shape. So we're just going to do a little V just here. I know it's unusual why you're starting with a V, but all will become clear. So we have a V, and then this V comes up and around like this. It's like the top eyelid. The bottom eyelid then comes down from this V. So it's going to come down like so. And then the eyeball line is just in front here. Like that, so the jaguar's looking off this direction. So there's a pupil inside, and it's a thin circle because he's looking this way. So if he was looking straight on, it'd be a full circle, like looking right up at you. But he's looking to the side, so looking this way. And now we're just going to make these dark lines thicker on this side. So we're going to make it so you can color in this eye like yellow or whatever color you wanted, and this is dark inside here. Now, so most cats have this black section that goes in towards their nose, so it's going to go into here. It's going to go to here, and it's going to curve around back in towards the eye, and then back up to about here, and it's all dark inside there. Now, so just above that, our leopard has one spot that kind of looks just like a teardrop, like this. This is going to just help us place where his head is. So we're going to color this in dark, like so. And then he's a couple of sort of eyebrow whiskers kind of thing, kind of just sticking up like so. So at the top of these is where his head, so his head is going to travel across these where they are. So just say from this one, we're going to bring this down like so, and then this is going to curve down like this, and this is going to go all the way to his nose, which is just down here at the front of the page, all the way to there. So we'll finish this back of his head all the way to maybe towards his ear. So this is going to go all the way across like so. So we're going to down towards the nose, and then this one is going to come back. And it meets his ear just back there. So we have a curved line, meets the ear just here, and this curved line comes down to the bridge, the top of his nose, and then comes down towards the point of his nose. So we'll do the nose down here. So this curves around like so, comes in to where the nostril is, comes down towards the front of the snout. So it looks like a T, like a capital T. And this comes back up around to the other side of the nose, just here. That's the kind of shape we're going for. It looks like maybe half a letter T or a letter R, a bubble letter R turned this way. And then he's a line just up the middle there. And then he's a dark black section on the side of this nostril, just here, curving around, and then comes down to the snout, like so. And then in here is really dark, so like dark for the nostril, and then like pretty dark, so you could hatch it, or you could colour it all black. It's up to you. I'm just going to leave a few little white spots just to show that it's not as dark there. So then we have the opposite side of his snout that we can see just coming down from the nose here, and these come up and meet just here. A little bit of a shadow just in here, dark part. And then he has his chin. You can make these hairy if you wanted, as hairy as you wanted to make your leopard, or you could just draw a straight line. It's up to you. Depends on your style. You know, you can add hairs to this. So this chin comes around and it'll go all the way to his jaw, which is like under his ear, just like humans. So just like here. So it's going to go all the way across, like so, and it's going to go up to the back of his ear, which is here. So that's his jaw here. So we're going to just add in that jawline. Just here. Like so. So that's the general shape. So once we have that, now we can start adding some more details. So his mouth here. If I go too fast, guys, just hit pause, remember. It's a good thing about YouTube, you can just pause these videos. So his mouth just there. And then he has his neck that comes down just across from this mouth, just here. It's a hairy sort of furry line down, goes off my page there. Of course, if you had more room, you could keep going. And then we'll add those dark sections that's under his lip. So he's got a dark shadow just in here. Could be his gum either. Do you know the way some animals have that dark section around their mouth? Like so. So then he has some spots on his chin. So we're just going to do it step by step. It's mostly spots. And we'll do the ear. Well, no, we'll do the ear first actually. So just up here. This ear comes up from here. Comes down around. Down towards the jaw that we drew. Just here. It's kind of a bumpy, wavy line all the way down to there. And then the front section of that ear comes across this direction to about there. Like so. And then we have a line just for the inner ear. And then there is a furry, sort of hairy section just inside that. So fur lines protecting the inside of the animal's ear. like so, and maybe some just fur lines here coming up. And inside here you can put a shadow just to show that it's dark inside that ear. Like that. So once you just sort of get the general shape of it, you can make it furry, more or less furry, it's up to you. So then the back of his head then is going to continue on past this ear. Past this ear just here. Right, so now spots. We'll go back over to the front of the face and we'll start adding spots. The easiest ones to start, I think, are on the mouth. Just small ones. And they gradually get bigger as we go back. So, the ones on the whiskers. So he's got like a big dark section coming around his lip here. So this is pretty dark inside, kind of a furry black section on the mouth. I'm going to leave a couple of white spots on it. I'm not going to colour it in completely black, I'm just going to sort of leave some white marks just to show some fur. And maybe along the rim of his lip there, I'll leave it white mostly. There's some dots that come up the face here. And then the whisker ones that come back this direction that gradually get bigger as well as we go. Like this. So there's 1, 2, 3 layers of these. So this layer goes all the way back. And they don't have to be circular, they can be like, you know, sort of strange shapes inside. And then there's another layer of whisker lines just on top here. So the thing about jaguars and animals like this, it's when you're drawing them, it's getting all these dots and things to kind of suggest the shape of his face, you know, the way his hair is growing and things like that. So we'll just keep adding. So we're following a sort of a line back here. Add some wherever you feel, really, where we're trying to show the direction his hair is growing. That's the main thing we're after. So then So that's a couple of pattern lines just there. And then there's some around his eye, so we could do the ones that are around his eye and his nose just here. So we have a couple of really small ones, like tiny little dots that come down from his tear duct, I guess is what you could call it, all the way down to here. And then these kind of spin around, so they come down towards his face. So they go in one layer, there's like come down in a circle sort of pattern. So we're spinning around. See, we're kind of drawing a circle. It's like you're doing dots but not joining them together. So imagine a line that goes this way. So wrapping around his eye just here. And there's a couple more small layers of this. So we're going all the way around. Some are bigger than others. And maybe a couple that go down towards his nose, just here. Lots of different sizes going up his nose, the side of his nose. Small ones though, try and keep them small. Like so. So you keep adding. Patience is the key. So he has ones that are just under his eye, just here. So it's like a line of them, just this way. And then this kind of is thicker. Kind of shows an eyelid. Some dots off it. Some dots in here. Bigger one there. And then we'll keep going. So you just keep adding where you feel like he needs spots. But you can see the sort of layers here of these ones, I hope. So we've one just at the back of the eye here as well. Get regular shapes, they're not circles. Like so. And then more here. So you'll notice as we go more this direction, they get kind of bigger. They're smaller up here. And there's a longer one just on his eyelid, just here. Another one here. Maybe a couple just across the top of the eye to maybe show a bit of an eyelid. Like that. And then start adding some bigger ones at the back of the head here. This. So adding some pretty big ones now. And they don't have to be perfectly coloured in black because, you know, it's a furry creature, so there's some fur that's going to come through. Some of these bigger maybe. Coming up his jaw. Coming up his ear now. Coming sort of around his head, so this layer is going to come around to here. So we have some dots that go up. So coming around like so. And then a couple inside here as well. Maybe some small sort of hairlines just around the ear, just to show that it's kind of furry. And then we can do the spots that are on his head, just here. So we have big ones here. Big ones there. A few smaller ones in between. That's what I've got so far. You need patience for drawing animals with all these spots on. That's all you need. A lot of patience. Like so. And we keep going. Keep going. Adding and adding and adding. More and more and more. Kind of a line for the top of his skull here. Like that. There's some dots in around that as well. So as we come towards the forehead here, they get smaller as well. So they're going to get gradually smaller as we go. So, starting to get a bit smaller now. So they're pretty small down here. Some longer ones, a little bit. So lots of little small ones there, as you can see. I don't want to keep just saying the same thing over and over, but that's what this is. Drawing jaguar spots. It's the same thing again and again. But that is the spots mostly done on his face, I think. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Okay, so big ones then back here on just on the back of his neck and stuff. So there's like big ones here. This one back in here. I'm just going to draw them in and then color them. So one behind the ear. All these random sort of shapes. Like so. Maybe some long ones. A couple in behind his ear here. Behind his jaw maybe. Some coming out from there. Down on his neck. Down here. One in here. This is probably going to be a long animal one because of all the spots. And then he has a big long one, a long sort of furry one. Comes all the way up around his neck. Like that, so it's all dark in there. That's the bottom of my page. And then there's like some zigzag sort of furry necklines coming all across here. Some more smaller ones there, bigger ones, smaller ones. Alright, so now I'm just going to colour all those in dark black. Right, so what we got to do now is the whiskers. So the whiskers travel off real long, so all the way down to, like, down here. So they come all the way. So you just do curving line down to like there, and there's a good few of them. So they come out like from these spots, these whisker spots. So we'll go, let's see how many we can add. Some that come out from the dark patch as well, shorter ones. A lot of whiskers, they get kind of shorter as they come up to the front of his face. Just like from this section, they're a bit shorter. Longer as we go back. And then there's some whiskers sticking out this other side. There's some short ones out here. Like so. Just to show that there's whiskers on the other side of the face. But that is the basic idea. How to draw a jaguar in profile. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.